So hello guys and welcome to the first edition of the Ode Chronicles. My name is Libby Reitmann and I will be your moderator this evening. I'm joined by Sarah Moore on my screen. Yeah, thank you for waving. I was going to say top left. Mike Rowe is on the bottom here.
Hey guys.
And Chris or Mikolajewski, did I say that right?
Mikolajewski, you were close.
Oh God, I was way off. Okay.
I wouldn't even attempt it.
I'm just going to say Miko. So welcome you guys and thanks for joining me on this inaugural episode. You all have something in common that brought you here tonight, and that is that you've just participated in an event, a running event called the Ode to Laz here in the beautiful state of Michigan. So Sarah, I was hoping if you don't mind, you could tell us what is the Ode?
Well, thank you, Libby. The Ode, I consider my Christmas in July now. It's the annual holiday that I look forward to. I lose sleep over, and I get to celebrate with an extended family now that I can't explain how much fun and excitement revolves around the day, the lead up, the post, the banter on Facebook, everything about it. But basically, it's this crazy looped course race that you get an hour to do, and then you get to repeat it as many times as there are people to continue.
Right. So
4 miles an hour. So, I mean, how hard can it be, right? And I guess it's a test of your personal grit and will and determination to go past your own limitations.
Yeah.
And I guess that's about it. You're surrounded by some pretty cool people. You get to crew yourself and decide when you're done, so you can make it what you want. You can come for a little bit, you can stay and party, but it's more than just your traditional road race or trail race for that matter.
Yeah.
It's easy until it's not.
And each time it gets a little bit harder to come in under the hour.
You make it sound so relaxed. So I'm gonna elaborate on that a little bit here. For any of those who've never run this kind of race before. So just to kind of give you a background, there's the most well-known types of running events, and you hear about your 5K, your 10K, your half and full marathons. And then you've got the slightly more obscure ultra marathon, where the distance is above and beyond marathon distance. So you'll see events 50Ks, 50 milers, 100 milers, and it just goes up from there. And then you've got the backyard ultra marathon, which I think should be called like backwoods marathon because it's so bizarre. When I first heard about it, I was like, you gotta do what? So that's what the Ode is. It's a last man standing event. There's no real maximum total distance. Like Sarah said, you run until you can't go anymore or until you don't make it back within that hour time limit. So there is a lot of room for distance variability when it comes down to the crowd, really. And Sarah, ironically enough, you were our last man standing this year and last year. Mike and Miko, you were our second and third place finishers, respectively, even though there's only one finisher, right? I'm still giving you props. So congratulations to you guys. It's an intense effort. It's insane to me. And I want to know, how many laps did you guys do? Total.
Well, Miko, you were first, right? So you
right.
26, right? Okay.
I got Miko by 1, so I got 27. I'm one better than Miko.
Okay.
And I had to go one more because Mike made me, so I got 28.
Okay. So each of these laps is 4.167. Who came up with that number? I don't know. That's 4.167 miles.
Do you really know why it's 4.167?
I don't know why.
It's 100 divided by
Yeah, it's, you do 100 miles every 24 hours.
Oh, all right. Laz is wily there. He likes
You get
that.
the 12 hours, you've done 50. It's kind of easy math if you think of it in terms of a day.
Okay,
You break it up a little bit better.
good to know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that means, so Sarah, if you ran 28 laps, you got 116.7 miles.
Mhm.
Okay. And Mike, you got 112 and a half
Yes.
miles. And then Miko, you got 108.3.
Yep.
Okay. That's nuts, you guys. I still find it. I can't believe it's, I don't know how you guys do it. So that's what we're here to find out, right?
No, what's nuts is Sarah never sweat one time in
Okay,
those
let's
over 100
find that out.
miles.
Yeah, was that
Oh,
true?
and here's my crew.
Where's mine?
This is how you do it, guys. Bottom line, we're just gonna sum it all up.
You should lock him in the backyard like I did my dogs.
So it's
Oh, God.
no, he's bringing food. I'll keep him around.
Nice. There you go. So yeah, so this means that you guys were on your feet for 24 hours with only the time that you had in between coming into the finish line till when you started next for any type of break. And I was looking at your guys' average times, and you actually had a pretty decent, well, I mean, a pretty decent amount of time. You're all pretty consistent with it. But still, in the grand scheme of things, it is a short break when it comes down to it. So that's pretty impressive. So I think it goes without saying that you guys are animals and that there might be some mental psychosis going on there for anybody to want to do this kind of distance. But yeah, I just applaud it. So for those who are new to the backyard style concept as well, I just want to add that to do the roughly 4 miles in that hour time limit means that you're having to average like a 12.9 minute mile. And that's not even including that break time that you would get. That would be if there was no breaks. So it doesn't sound so bad until you realize that you guys did it for over 26 hours, which is just, that shows some endurance and stamina and mental fortitude, like Sarah said. I'm sure it's a lot of a mental game as well. But so now that hopefully I boosted your egos up a little bit, we can talk about what we've got in store for you tonight, which is a lot. The development of our session stemmed from the fact that there are a lot of runners out there like me who either participated in the event before or who followed the event. And as a result, we really want to pick your brains. So again, thanks for sacrificing your time and answering some questions for us, super fans. Last week, we posted on the Facebook page, the Ode to Laz Facebook page, that we were planning on doing this Q&A tonight. And we invited people to send us questions. And what I've done is compiled those questions and along with a fair amount of my own and separated them into a couple of common themes. So you'll see as we go on, we've kind of broken it down into 4 different themes tonight. And hopefully we get to them all. If not, we'll get to them at another point. But so first we're going to cover the most important category, and that is you guys. We want to know who you are, where you're from, what's your background in running, and that kind of stuff. Second, we're going to talk about training. Most of the questions I got were in regards to training. So we've got quite a few of those to get through. That probably is the meat of our Q&A. Then we'll talk about nutrition. To newer runners out there, nutrition might not sound like something that you might be super interested in, but when it comes to ultra running, you can't really get anywhere unless you're eating along the way. So, and from what I understand, I haven't had this issue, but maybe you guys can attest to it. You know, sometimes the nutrition during these long distances can make or break it. Has that been your experience?
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah. So, and lastly, we'll talk about the race day and how things went for you guys. What were our COVID-inspired modifications? Why Sarah hates the Baby Shark song so much. I'm really interested in that. And who talked the best smack. So my plan is to give each of you the opportunity to answer each question, unless you want to pass on it, which is fine, or if the question was written with a specific runner in mind. So that's kind of how we'll do things. That way, hopefully we can see, the similarities and differences, and then, answer some questions you may have had about each other as well. So you guys feeling good? You want to talk?
Let's do it.
Okay. So we'll start off with the personal stuff. Where are you all from, or where are you living right now?
Who you want to go first, Libby? You want to point out one of us?
Okay, Sarah, tell me. We'll go clockwise according to my screen.
Alrighty.
It's probably different.
Well, I'm a local, I guess you could say. I was born and raised around here, Oak Park. Went to Berkeley High School, Rochester College, which is not in New York. It's in Rochester, Michigan, and I played basketball there. I guess running has been primarily part of my adult life, and kind of a side part of my upbringing, because it was just to facilitate my sports and keep me in shape. The ode came about through some running friends at work. I have this awesome running family that I've acquired, and he's actually one of my running mentors or ultra idols, Mike Fisher. Thanks to him, he kind of introduced me to the idea of going the distance, and got a big group of us last year to sign up for the ode. And so one of my biggest goals was just to see if I could hang with fish. So I didn't really have any expectation or any idea about the backyard race or what it all meant, as far as like bigs and all of that, and how it had been around for a little bit longer than I had been aware. But definitely kind of went into it blind, and a little bit skeptical, like, how is this going to work out? It sounds really, really boring. Going in circles like a rat for who knows how long, the same loop over and over. But I guess the curiosity of like, well, how long could I maintain that pace for, kind of stuck with me, and I just got excited about the format and just wanted to check it out. So I'm glad I did.
Nice. We're glad you did too. All right, Miko, where are you from?
I grew up right around Detroit, Trenton, like just downriver my whole life. I now live in Livonia. Running, I've been a runner in middle school, a little bit before that, and then kind of dropped off in high school through college, and picked it back up when I graduated and started working again, and had time to travel and race and have fun. And it started as one small race with my friends in 2013, and now I keep trying to find the craziest things I can go do.
What was your first race?
When I kind of got back into it was a Warrior Dash in 2013 in Flint.
Okay.
With a bunch of buddies, and I kind of kicked off this whole obstacle course racing like thing I got into to find like the hardest craziest race.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, and Mike.
Yeah, so I'm Mike Rowe. I'm outside of Michigan, so I'm a Columbus, Ohio guy. So made the trip up to Michigan for the race. My background in running really is, I kind of like Sarah got into it more in my adult life. I've been running more seriously for probably about 10 years, but I am a complete road runner. Like I've ran Columbus Marathon 9 or 10 years now. This was actually my first race ever on a trail. So it was pretty exciting to come up. And the way I got into it actually is opposite of Sarah. Bigs was actually my first introduction into ultras. I didn't even know the world of 100-mile races, but there's a really famous ultra runner in the Cincinnati, Ohio, Harvey Lewis, who back in 2017 really took bigs to the next level. So him and Guillaume they took it up to going like closer to 250 miles. And I remember being at work, a friend told me about it, and there I am refreshing my browser every hour trying to catch these guys at the finish line. And it just opened my eyes. And so ever since Laz decided to do these feeder races into his, that was for me my entry into say, hey, let me do something outside of the road races. Let me get into the trail. And I felt like, because it was Big's race that got me into it, Big's backyard, my first ultra had to be a backyard style race. And so I was really excited to be able to run Ode this year.
So this was your first ultra ever?
So yeah, so during like training for this, I had ran some mileage over it, but the longest race, the longest official race I had ever done before this was a marathon.
Wow, awesome. Yeah. That's crazy. Okay, I got so many more questions. Okay.
And that is actually my least favorite distance, Mike.
The burning question on my mind is, what is in your container, Mike?
I'm drinking
I gotta hide it.
Platform beers. It's a local Ohio brewery in the Cleveland, Ohio area. Great beers.
Nice. I love it.
What are you drinking there, Sarah?
That's all good.
A White Claw, because there ain't no law.
When you're drinking the claw.
And it matches my outfit.
Showing off the jacket.
True.
Mango is the best flavor anyway.
Yeah, and what are you wearing, Sarah?
Oh, well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's my varsity jacket.
That's right. Last year,
I only wear like once a year.
Last year's prize.
It is really nice quality.
It still looks awesome. Yeah.
A little ode on it.
Yeah.
Only one other person in the world has one.
One other person?
Yeah, Matt from last year.
That's right. That's right. Well, it looks great on you. So
you're gonna race it next year. You know that, right? July 10th.
You have to wear it during the race
the whole time.
It'll keep the
deer flies off.
It'll keep the black flies off.
Yeah.
All right. So people want to know how old you guys are, and do you think that age is a factor when it comes to long distance running?
Do you want to go backwards this
Everybody looks 21. I'll just start off with that.
I'm legal.
Okay, so let's start with Mike.
So I'm 38 years old. I think the longer the race, the less age and things like that matter. I think it levels out the playing field when a style like this, as Sarah said, it's not a speed race necessarily. This is a human will, refuse to quit kind of race. And so I think it really levels the playing field.
Yeah. All right. Miko?
So I just turned 34 yesterday. Actually, it was my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Hope you had
I'm super excited because next year I get to race 35 to 39 age group. So
nice.
I age up.
And
so really, I won't know what age I am because on my race result it says 35. It's like a running joke. I never know how old I am because I only look at athletes.
Yeah, you're just in that age range. You don't need to know.
Yeah.
After 35, it doesn't matter anymore. So,
yeah, for age against the race thing, I think it's definitely age has a benefit to it. Just the experience and the training.
Okay. Oh yeah, good point.
That's one thing, like I'm still learning. I'll figure it out eventually, I hope.
Well, and we saw a lot of age ranges last year. I know for sure. I don't know if what the age range looked like this year at the Ode. But I remember thinking, man, there are a lot of different folks out here. So, and I was impressed. A lot of them were going a lot farther than I was too, so yeah. And Sarah, how old?
I guess I'm the baby this year. I'm 32, and I just can't wait to grow up because I have so much to look forward to. I got spanked by a 50-year-old woman last year in one of my races, so
like not literally.
So like in the race, she just kicked my ass. So, and I'm just really looking forward to like you guys were saying, experience and I guess the patience and I guess a stronger foundation, because you're not who you were last year, and you kind of build upon it. So both physically and mentally, it all kind of comes together. And with shorter distances or 5Ks or track events or something, you probably peak when you're young and you're at your peak physically, to be able to push and exert and test your body in that sort of short distance. But I think definitely with the endurance and with the longer races, you're going to look at the finishers and the winners, and they're going to be much older than your college kids or young ones. So
Yeah.
I think that's what hooks me the most is looking forward to what's next, and not feeling like your best years are behind you. In fact, they're in front of you.
Right. And I mean, if you look at the long distance running community and, the pro athletes, the people who are winning these events, a lot of them are in their 30s. And for some reason, I mean, there are some younger ones, but I don't know why, but for whatever reason, people are doing well in their 30s and into their late 30s. So I'd like to think you guys are kind of at like your best right now. And it'll only get better if you keep at it, but I like your. Now, we kind of talked about your history with running. I was curious, Mike, I wanted to ask you, when you said this was your first trail run, did you practice on the trails, hopefully? No, you ran just roads?
Yeah, no, I mean, so I live in a suburb of Columbus, and there's not a whole lot of trails unless you're going to drive somewhere. And
Okay.
I have 4 kids, and so like our activities are just crazy with sports. I coach, so the only time I can run, I get up at like 4 a.m. to log my runs. So there's no driving a half hour to run on a dark trail. Like I run on city roads, and so like the idea of a single track trail, like I'd never even heard of that until I was in Michigan 2 weeks ago running. I just remember my first lap, like I think I laughed the entire lap because I'm running and jumping over stuff. Like I felt like a kid.
Yeah.
I was kicking every root and every rock. It took me a couple hours to learn how to even figure out, how to go down a hill the right way without blowing out my quads right away. But
Yeah.
I mean, it was a ton of fun, but it was definitely the first experience of hopefully a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a champion, Mike. I don't know how you did that. My first trail run, I was cussing up a storm. I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Yeah. And the Ode course, I don't want to scare anybody away, but there's some gnarly sections where you're definitely not really running. You're kind of just dodging obstacles.
I give you a lot of credit because when I first started running trails, I averaged 1 fall every 5 miles. And now I'm finally good. Where I don't think I fell once the whole time, or whatever, 14 loops on the trail.
There was a bunch in our group, Miko, that took some spills those first 11 hours on the trails for sure. I never fell. I've kicked a ton of rocks and roots. I've got my left foot is completely purple. Every toenail is bright purple from kicking so many roots. But it was
you're
fun.
Thinking about us every day. All right.
Yeah. My foot's finally better, so I'm happy now.
Well, yeah, and when you go as long as you guys did and you're getting fatigued, those roots are like even bigger than they were, 10 hours ago, I'm sure. So it's a lot harder to get over them at that point.
After 27 hours, it's not the roots that scared me. It was the stairway to heaven that I think went on for 2 miles by that 27th loop.
That's my favorite part of this course.
Oh, God.
Oh, gosh. You're just a glutton for punishment then, I think. So
the stairs aren't that bad.
I think Mike was going to kill me at one point, but I kept saying, let's move back to the trail.
Yes.
Let's go back. It's like, I'm ready to get back on the trail. This was like 4 a.m. It's dark out. Like, I was ready to get off that road.
Road can be boring.
I just remember the first couple loops thinking, like you said, Sarah, like, well, these stairs aren't so bad. What did Tad make such a big deal about the stairs for? And then I got to realize, oh my gosh, I got to go up these stairs again. And the step ups are they just seem like they get bigger and bigger. So yeah.
They're not regulation size.
It's definitely, yeah, it's definitely a tough course. So
Does anybody know how many stairs there are? Did anybody ever count?
I have no.
How many times I've ran
I have
that
to go
course?
back
I've
now.
never counted.
I don't know.
I think at the time
More than
that it
20?
takes about like 1.5 to 2 minutes or something is what I timed it as.
Yeah.
I would do it by time.
Okay.
I think it took me 6 minutes, so it's fine.
A painful 6 minutes.
I don't know where you start the stairs either. Do you start them at where the stairs start or at like where the lake is? So there's
Where the stairs start, where the trail merges.
Yeah. Yeah, and that section is steep. It's steep, so
just walk the stairs and you're fine.
yeah. Once you're up there, it's not too bad. But
Especially if someone's pumping the fountain at the top, then it's okay.
we're gonna get a lot of people coming to this event. The way we're making it sound, the course is so inviting.
I think the coolest part about this year, though, was that at the top of the stairs, now we had that new start location.
Oh.
So I wonder how it was, because I was at the Overlook, and you guys were at Oak Flats when you guys started. So what was it like leaving Oak Flats and coming up the stairs and seeing our community and seeing where our little gang was? Because we didn't even get to see your gang because it's kind of a little bit off the trail.
Yeah,
you ran through ours.
So it was kind of weird because for us, we had to like walk up that trail to our tents and then come back. So it was a little bit of a transition where you guys were right there. But I just remember someone had cornhole going and like my second lap, I want to throw one. And then it's like every lap I'd go there and I'd throw one. Like I'd swing by, grab a beanbag, throw it. I think by the end,
I would imagine that might have kind of pumped you up a little bit too, to see, to get up to that top of the hill and you're like out, and then you see everybody having fun. So
it was a good break.
Yeah. A mental motivator. So
yeah.
So what other events had you guys done leading up to your first ode? Sarah, we'll start with you.
So, first ode as in my first ode was last year, I guess. So.
Yeah. What kind of distance?
I had done a couple of hundreds before.
Okay.
So I had been kind of familiar with, all sorts of distances from, 5K, 10K, 10-miler, half, full, 50, but I think I'd only done 200s.
Okay.
And I DNF'd one of them, another one.
Okay.
So I think, last year was my redemption run. So I went back to redeem myself on a race that I had failed at. And so that gave me some confidence. And that was on a more mountainous race.
Okay. Where was that at?
Virginia. Old Dominion. I always get confused because I say ode and old, and they're very similar names.
Okay.
But yeah, I think so. Before ode last year, I had just kind of gotten that second one under my belt. I did a big one out in Europe, which was the UTMB. But it's not the full one. I did the little sister version.
Is that the one in France? The one in France?
Yeah,
that's my dream race.
It's beautiful. That's so good.
I just want to walk it. I mean, I don't even care.
When you're there, you feel like you're still in a dream. You're like, is this for life?
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that. We only had the qualifying points though to do the CCC, which is the 100K.
Okay.
But it's brutal even that.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Yeah. The elevation is insane.
But I think getting a couple of those big boys out of the way, and then since ode last year, I did another big one in Virginia. Getting some good gain, I guess, time on your feet, that helps. At least with knowing what you're capable of as far as trail and staying up all night and going continuously.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's complete opposite for me. Like I said, I've done 9 or 10 Columbus marathons in a row, and then I usually sprinkle in about 2 more half marathons a year. But that's pretty much all I do is a couple halves and 1 full every year.
Okay.
Good champion, Mike. I don't know how you did that.
You're the one talking about running all this elevation and 100 miles. I'm like, I'm good
But,
for like
like,
3
I
hours.
couldn't
and 30
have done that
minutes.
performance having never run a trail before.
Yeah, that is incredibly impressive. You might need to start
I want to
doing
give you the
more.
golden ticket. Shoot. That's impressive.
I'm sure your family won't mind if you just keep training for 100+ miles, right?
Natural. I'm scared now. Next year. Difference a year can make. It's crazy.
So
Next
how
year
about
we'll-
you? How about you, Miko? What kind of mileages have you done before your first ode?
I've done a bunch, like even 24-hour races before. So
Okay.
my first real ultra was 2017. I ran World's Toughest Mudder, which is a 24-hour, 5-mile loop, 20 obstacle race.
Awesome.
I've now done that 3 years going into this. Would have been my 4th year going into that in November. So that was like my first ultra, and my one and only marathon was a training run for that.
Oh wow.
So I was shooting for 75 miles or 15 loops there, and right after midnight, I hurt my foot and ended up walking back through the course and freezing, and then just calling it quits.
Okay.
I've done that. I've done a bunch of Spartan ultras, so a 50K in the mountains where they throw whatever they can think of at you. Cold water swims. I ran the Killington Ultra, which is known as the Beast of the East, last year, and I got out on the first lap, and we got down to the bottom of the mountain, and they're like, here's a half-mile loop and a 60-pound sandbag. Have fun. I remember staring at the you're like, you guys are kidding, right? Like, you literally just ran up something that you couldn't run. It was a hard hike. And then the downhill was steeper, so it was like, try not to kill yourself, to here's this. Oh, and then you got to keep doing it.
Awesome.
Nice.
I've done a bunch of
So
those.
you got like calves of steel, right?
Yeah, I just know how to like just keep hurting myself and keep going, and it's always fun on those courses because like the ultras do 2 loops and the normal beast runners do 1. So by the time we're doing our second loop, there's always like the normal beast runners out there, and they're always shocked. Like, these ultra guys, they're, we have purple jerseys on, so they're just like passing us. It's like, you guys just don't understand how much I want off this mountain. Like, you
I
guys
just
want
want to hurry up
to
and get done.
7.5 hours.
Yeah, it's interesting what motivates you, right?
So I've done a lot of that, a lot of long, like, kind of obstacle races. A lot of those end up in the mountains or through real rough terrain, which makes it fun.
Okay.
Very,
You guys are all
very little road
very
racing.
different in where you're coming from, when you're running. So that's very interesting. When you guys are looking to sign up for an organized event, what do you look for? Like, what motivates you to sign up for an event? How are you picking these events? Are they just based on the prize? Are they based on the mileage, or are you looking for like a vacation run, or
A high DNF rate and a great hard course.
Okay, so you're looking for a challenge.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Mike, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, with the busy kid life and stuff, honestly, I don't travel. It's all local stuff. This was the one outlier of that, and really it's COVID related, that ended up in Michigan. I was going to do some backyards in the Ohio area, but with races getting canceled, that's how I ended up getting to Ode, which obviously I'm so excited for because it was the best time ever. So I'm not the best one to answer this one because I don't typically make a weekend of it and enjoy stuff. It's usually stuff that's a little closer to home that I can try to get in with the family life still.
Well, and that's probably the majority of our runners too, who participated in our event. A lot of people can't get out and get farther away. So
it was cool at Ode.
I think I'm the opposite of you, Mike.
Now you're
I was
looking.
just
Are you
gonna
looking
say
for
it.
the vacation, Sarah?
Yeah.
You're looking for the scenery.
Yeah, I'm looking for a reason to go somewhere and explore a new area, and I have kind of the luxury of part-time kids, so 50% of the time I have to do that gig, and then the other 50% I'm kid free. So then and I also have a partner that my lead crew guy, my husband, he also likes the same stuff, so it works out. And the UTMB was sort of his dream, actually. It wasn't even something I was on my radar.
Okay.
I didn't even have a clue. It was one of our friends, and it didn't even really matter to me that much to get there. It was more for him. So we had to do these qualifying races to get to there.
Okay.
So a lot of our decision making revolved around what races are in our wheelhouse that we can complete and then get us into the lotto for that. And so I guess when you're looking at what should you do or how should you tackle a big ultra distance and where, I guess think about what you're good at. I'm not very good at climbing, or I wasn't at first. So I wanted a flat first 100. So when we picked 100, we picked a really flat one.
Okay.
I had like no gain. But then I guess when you grow from there and you start to want to challenge yourself and pick something that has game, but maybe not hard rock, pick something that's in between that's going to give you a taste for what it's like to climb. And then we picked Old Dominion because that's a decent amount, but not.
Isn't hard rock like only 22,000 across whatever is the 50 or 100 miles?
Hard rock's pretty beastly. It's one of the biggest ones. That's one I still fear, and so that's still one on my bucket list of what I'd want to do eventually is a hard rock, or, now I'm looking for anything that will break me and challenge me and make me go to these dark places that I like to learn about.
Okay.
Come on with me.
I don't know.
Where you
Kinda like you,
get in your own head a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But I think each time you do one, you kind of get a taste for what you want to do next, and you can kind of build from there. So.
Yeah.
So far, there's only one race I've ever done where it's like I will never go back.
What's that?
But it was the Big Bear Beast course. I was a miserable time. It was my only race where I actually sat down on the side of the mountain for 15 minutes.
Oh.
Just because I was so burnt out, and dead. But then there's those other races where it's like you finish. I'm like, okay, I can do this again.
Yeah.
And then when I did the Killington Ultra, I was like, I am never going back. Never happening again. Then at breakfast, it's like, guys, I'm going to have to go back and do this again. It lasted all about 12 hours for that turnaround.
Yeah. Yeah. The first time I went to Vermont, I said I will never return to this horrible state. And then, yeah, I'm going back in 2 weeks. So.
For which?
Yeah. I'm not running a run. Actually, I'm going on a hike. So. But yeah, I was just so put off by the mud and the roots and just the misery of those mountains. But yeah, now it's I would imagine maybe childbirth, you just kind of forget about it and you're like, yeah, that was kind of fun. Maybe I'll go do it again.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So,
it's like the type 2 fun, they say, right?
Right.
It's, maybe
it's
not fun
definitely type 2 fun.
Like,
and I imagine, would you qualify as running the Ode or any type of backyard ultra? Is it type 2 fun or is it type 1 fun?
Too. I have fun moments and memories, and I think
okay.
I think there's definitely. What?
I had fun the whole time we were running.
I had a horrible time.
It never became not fun.
Come on,
Miko.
My foot bothering me sucked, but I had fun. It was a great time.
All right.
No, I think the Ode is the exception. I feel like I really feared how boring it would be, but every loop is different. You talk to someone new each time, maybe. You have something new to look forward to on a time of day, like if the sun's gonna go down and you get to go to the road loop, or I don't know. I think you can make something of it, even though it's not a very exciting route per se. It's challenging, but
yeah,
it will get boring, and anything will get boring the more you do it. So
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Do you guys have other events coming up this year? Anything that's actually going to go in 2020? Sarah, is the bigs, are you in this year? Or are you in for next year? Are you in a lottery? You don't know.
I don't know. I have a ticket, but he changed the race, so we'll see. I would love to go. It's been a dream, but
okay.
don't know.
If you need someone to crew, I'm available that weekend.
Well, you know, no, it seems that they're doing a different format this year, obviously due to COVID, and so that may or may not pan out. But
Okay.
other than that, I was looking at Cloud Splitter, which is in Virginia. Same
Oh,
weekend as Big, so
okay.
could be a good alternative
That's your backup plan?
for all of the races that got deferred from this year to next. So
Yeah.
got a few lined up in a spring.
Okay. How about you guys, Mike and Nico?
Yeah, I've got one that I'm registered for, another backyard event. So it's the Ohio Backyard Ultra. It's down in Southern Ohio. So it was supposed to run in March of this year, got postponed in November. So I'm a little on the fence on whether I'll run that still or not.
Okay.
But
That would be soon to next year's Bigs because it's past the qualifying date for this year's.
Yeah, so it's not an automatic qualifier this year. It's an automatic qualifier next year. So the way like the feeder races work is not every qualifier race is an automatic ticket in like Ode was this year. Some of them are automatic qualifiers. Other ones, the winners all get kind of pulled together, and whoever had the farthest distance, like the top couple, will get into Big's backyard. So there's different levels of the qualifiers. So
are you just doing it for practice then, and for trying to see how far you can go?
Well, so yeah, I don't know. So like I said, it was my original plan at the beginning of this year. That's the race I was going to run in March. I was not registered for Ode. When it got canceled, then I started to look, well, I was trained up. I wanted to run something else. There's another one in Ohio called Bob's Backyard Timber. That one was getting, that one got postponed as well. So I registered for Odes. So I ended up like registering for multiple backyards, and Odes was the one that kind of came through for me for this year, at least first. So
yeah, I'm happy that you guys were able to do it. So
yeah, it was awesome.
And I know Tad was happy. He worked real hard to get it to happen. So
yeah, there were like daily updates from him.
Oh man, yeah. I just
plan and
any lesser motivated person would have just said, "Oh, forget it. It'll just, it'll be next year."
Can we talk about Tad for a minute because he is amazing.
Yeah,
and we need to gush more about him.
Yeah,
what?
I don't know how he like just being there all night in his little chair, like as we were coming in, and then all day, and then the next day.
If he was racing, we wouldn't have a chance because he just goes and goes and goes and goes, and he does so much, down to the littlest detail, and beyond his efforts as a race director, he's just an incredible human being, and he just takes care of everybody. I just have so many positive things to say about him, and just takes the shirt off his back and would give it to you, and I just love Ted.
Yeah. And he loves you guys, and he loves this event. And like I was telling you before we started recording, this started out just being like, hey, can I ask them a couple questions? Because I want to do that one day, and I want to know what they do. And it turned into this awesome platform so that we can share it with everybody. And that was all him. So
yeah, what I really appreciated from Tad was just the absolute excitement he had for all of us runners. Like, so me being an outsider a little bit, leading up to the race, I was emailing him a little bit because the original date, I didn't think I'd have a crew member because of the COVID. I couldn't get someone up there. Mm-hmm. And he's like, don't worry, we'll hook you up. We'll get someone to help transfer you. He's talking me all through it. And then you could just tell he's so excited. He's like, Mike, we're 3 weeks out. The hay is in the barn. Just relax, but it's a strength course. You got to realize this is going to be hard. Like, he's just pepping me up, giving me this pep talk before, he has no idea who I am, when most race directors, I think, you'd struggle to get a reply back on an email you send him. And here he is trying to give me all kinds of advice for the race. It was just awesome. He's a great guy.
Yeah. He's in tune with everybody there. So It's something special for sure.
He's making a dynasty, and I feel like I'm excited to have been a part of it from year one. And no matter what comes in the future, I'm always going to be an Ode fan.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be a big crew or whatever whenever I get dethroned.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not going to be able to get rid of me, so.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere either.
If you get dethroned, you got to go back and get it back. That's all. Oh, it's
all
that's a
good.
motivator.
That'll last for however long it lasts, but you know, life goes on, and then I can just be part of the rooster coop.
Yeah, you can be the one throwing the bean bags while runners go by.
Yeah.
So speaking of family, and running family, do you guys, Sarah, you mentioned that you belong to, well, you said you run with some people from work, but do you guys belong to a running club, or do you have a group that you're always out with, or is it just
my running family kind
together?
of evolved depending on who's around, but yeah, the work thing has kind of dwindled since I've been working from home, but we still have a few. I do have a tri club that I'm part of, the Infinite Multisport. Never done a tri, but I meet up for beers once a month, so I like that.
Nice.
I'm just pretty much down for whoever will take me and play with me.
Miko, how about you doing all your Spartan and
I have a couple groups of friends who will travel, and then I have a local coach who we have our group here, so we do our long runs on Sunday together.
Okay.
There were actually a few of them came to crew for me and support me and help me with my transition. So it's a great group.
Nice.
I'll say there's about 30 of us in Detroit. So when somebody does a marathon, it's the whole group goes. So that's
that's awesome.
We got that good support. And then for out of town, obstacle races, there's a group of us. If not, I know enough people where it's okay, we just kind of meet up and do our thing, or share hotels or Airbnbs. It's fun. Meet new people anyway. So
yeah,
the way it works.
Mike, how about you?
Libby, I'm sure you'd be surprised, but I don't have a whole lot of takers to join me at 4 a.m. to go running. So.
Nope.
I'm a lone wolf out there putting in the nighttime miles by myself.
Yeah. I keep telling my husband, I just need to get up at 4 a.m. and run and get it over with. And then I set the alarm and then I shut it off.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not a morning exercise person. I do better in the afternoon, but yeah, when you got 4 kids running around, it's kind of hard to squeeze it in. But do you think, I can't think of any disadvantages of being in a group, a more formal group like you have, Miko. But are there any disadvantages of group running when it comes down to, you doing your own individual event? Is it weird not having your group there moving with you, or is there anything that changes for you during the event?
Not that I could think of for me, because it's all individual competition most of the time. I've done a couple team events, team 12-hour events, team Ragnars, which are fun. You get to hand off and you're all together, but most of the time it's individual effort anyway. So it's just nice to train with somebody and be there and screw around and have the conversation instead of just being out on the road alone for hours.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah. Trust me, I know that, Mike. I was out of my house at 5 a.m. when it was hot for long 12-mile runs before work.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man.
I think once you get used to a group, you would going without it. At least in my experience, I've gone to a race without them and missed them, and maybe I've become reliant or dependent on them. I think I've always been of the you want to go far, go together kind of thing. You want to go fast, go alone.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of ways they help me enjoy the journey rather than, they'll push me, and there's times where you're worried about pace or something, but for the most part it's let's stop and smell the roses and enjoy the ride while we're out here. So
Yeah. It definitely, I noticed it makes the miles go by a lot faster. You know, when you're running in a group that versus by yourself. But, you know, then there's those days where you're trying to think, I swear I ran with you, Miko, one day at Island Lake, and I was like, man, I wish I was by myself because I can't keep up with these guys.
I'm trying to think. I can't say when you mentioned that, I'm like, maybe I've ran out there a bunch.
There was only one time, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but all right, you know, like I guess I'll come run with you guys. And yeah, you guys were killing it. I was dying. So at that point, I wish I had just been by myself, looking miserable. But yeah, otherwise, you know, I enjoy the group mentality too. So, what other hobbies do you have, or you know, is running kind of like taking over for you guys? Because it takes a lot of time to train for even just one of these events. So do you have time to squeeze in some other hobbies? Mike, let's go with you. I know you said you were a coach and everything, so
Yeah, so with the 4 kids, I got 3 boys that play on soccer teams and baseball teams. So to, you know, coach a couple of their teams, you know, really it's all the kids' activities outside of running. That's
Okay.
the main Mike time is running for sure.
Okay. Miko? I saw you ask people to go ride bikes the other day.
Yeah, I then got called crazy because I wanted to go on an easy 15-mile bike ride, and everybody thought that was a super hard ride.
your perspective has changed on what is hard.
Yeah, you know, I'm just going for a 15 mile, like an hour. But yeah, I like, you know, I'll be honest, like, I just train. I'm outside a lot, like on my bike, running like trails on the weekends, and when I get out to like Island Lake or Island Lake, I go I'll swim after or something, hit in the gym, and then through the winter I play hockey with a bunch of buddies every night.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
that on top of
It's like your cross training then, huh?
Oh yeah, I just go nonstop.
I get the impression that you can't sit still.
Not really well. So like
You're doing a good job right now.
Yeah. Which I don't know about you guys, like after the race, like to have those like 3 or 4 days where it's like you can't do anything, it's absolutely like kills me.
I couldn't. I'm joking. I took like 5 days off.
Just like to walk by your running shoes and be like, really, it's nice out. I want to go.
Yeah, it's hard. I almost say to people I'm going to give up racing because I hate the taper so much, and I hate like the anxiety that builds up leading up to it, and then I hate the aftermath where I can't run because my feet are destroyed from blisters or something, and or they don't fit into the shoes because they're swollen or yeah. But no, I still keep that.
Yeah, when
you look at a flight of stairs like it's the worst thing in the world.
No, I don't have to go down. Going down them is worse than going up sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Standing up after sitting for a while.
When I told my parents that I was going to be interviewing you guys, my dad was like, "Oh, you know what? Why are you doing that?" I was like, because I would really like to be able to run 100 miles one day. And they were both like, "No, that's so bad for your body," you know. And I was like, "No, I don't really think it is. You're healthy.
My brother,
you might beat up yourself, but."
My brother has sat me down in December for an intervention and said, "Are you sure this is a good idea? Are you sure when you're 50, you're going to be able to walk?" I'm like, "I think so."
Is your brother?
If not, I'm going to make the most of now.
Right? Is your brother a non-runner? Because it always feels like it's the non-runners who try to tell us that running is bad. That's what I always laugh about.
I mean, he runs a little, but not like. He's like, "Well, you could just do little races. Why do you have to go do 100? I'm like, because that's what it takes now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have to. I get to.
Yeah.
I don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah, and you wouldn't do it if you weren't getting something out of it, for sure. So, or hoping to get something out of it, I should say. But so yeah, I guess that'll kind of go into what your family and friends think about your long distance running. Mike, how do you balance your training? Is it just getting up at 4 a.m, or like are you doing long runs on the weekend where you're gone for a long time, and how do they deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, depends on the training, right? So like training for this event, I trained it to try to run 100 miles. So I was doing the long back-to-backs. So it's long run Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Typically we got the kids' activities are more on Saturday than Sunday. So I'd get up super early on Saturday, but Sunday I typically would go ahead and take a couple hours to myself in the middle of the day. So I wasn't getting up at 4, back-to-back long runs like that.
Okay.
But in terms of like the friends and family, like, I mean, it's become part of my brand, like at work, and that's who I'm known as now. It's, it's almost hard to, not that I want to turn it off, but it would be hard to turn it off, because at work, every meeting I'm in, it's, well, how's training going? What are you doing? And when you tell people you just ran 112 miles, the eyes go wide open. It's,
Yeah.
it's exciting to, that's really just part of who I am anymore.
Yeah. Chris, how about you?
I definitely
What's
what Mike's
everybody
saying about the coworkers who are like, you just did what?
Has anybody in your family or friend group, said kind of like what Sarah's brother did, like, why are you doing this? Why are you beating up your body?
Not really. Like, I have kind of two friend groups, like my little hockey group who, like, we play hockey and drink beer. And then, like, my ultra running group friends who it's like, oh, we're going to go on a 4-hour run. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, just a normal day. And then, like, family-wise, my dad retired last year, like 2 years ago. So he's been my crew for, like, when he comes out, he travels with me trips. So he's all for it.
That is awesome.
We want to find like the good like restaurants or good sightseeing things, so we always have a good time.
He's your tour coordinator. Nice. That's awesome. I know when I was training for the Ode last year, even my husband, who likes to run but is not interested in doing anything like this, he wants to go out and run like a couple miles, and he's like, you're gonna be gone for how long today? Like, and okay, well, like, what is that? So you're not gonna come to this or that? It was hard to kind of tell everybody to be like, you're gonna have to do your own thing because I gotta go run for the next 4 hours or something. It was challenging. And that was only, just for just a little over marathon distance. So I wasn't even doing, huge mile training runs like you guys probably were for 100-mile goal.
Not much different than a marathon.
No.
Yeah. Just
well, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about that because everybody wants to know exactly what to do so that
I think marathons are harder.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because you're like worried about pace. You gotta like, you gotta beat your last time because you're trying to, push it. It's way more stressful.
Yeah, if you care about your time at all. Yeah.
But you're gonna finish it.
Right.
Generally.
Whereas the Ode is like, I'm not sure I'm gonna make it into this next lap.
Well, I can change. Yeah.
Yeah. At least I felt like there was a lot more pressure to get somewhere by a certain time, versus a traditional marathon where you're like, I can take however long I want as long as I get there in like 8 hours or whatever. So whatever their max time limit is, but it takes the pressure off a little bit. Let's see. We talked about if you had participated in other backyard style ultras already, but has there been any significant differences you noticed from any other backyards versus the Ode, or were they all pretty similar, other than the awesome people and the camaraderie and stuff that
Can't beat the Ode family, that's for sure.
But as
I've
far
only
as logistics and course and stuff like that, was it pretty much the same kind of thing?
Well, I
that you
haven't done anything other than Ode either, other than the
Okay.
virtual.
Okay.
And Mike, you did the virtual, right?
Yeah, I did with you. I mean, I did for like a third of the time that you did, I think.
So the
Okay.
virtual was obviously a beast of its own and not a traditional race either. So I don't know if I could compare it to a different backyard.
Did anybody do that virtual on a treadmill? No. Okay. I was gonna give you more props if you did, because that would have sucked. Have there been any? I liked this question. It was from someone who sent one in. Have there been any movies or documentaries about running or just testing limits in general? Because that's really what you guys are doing. That have inspired you, or that maybe got you into looking into ultra running, in the first place? Mike's shaking his head first. I saw. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, as soon as I decided to sign up for like some trail stuff, just because I've not experienced it, I started YouTubing, and you automatically start finding a bunch of videos on Western states. And so
Yeah.
I'm waiting
I
for
watched
mine, Andrew. You gonna deliver?
More food?
White Claws.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
But what I found interesting,
I'm waiting for my food delivery. Can I get you guys something?
I'm good.
You can. Thank you.
a lot of the documentaries I would enjoy watching were not the ones of Jim Walmsley winning or whoever. It was all the back of the pack stuff. And it was all these people that are everyday Joes like me, gritting it out, trying to get there before the cutoff. Like those were the ones that I love to watch. These people that are working full-time jobs and juggling kids and are just out there grinding and doing everything they can. And, those were the ones, because it spoke to me a little bit more for a backyard style race, where these are people that are digging deep and giving everything they got to make it one more mile, one more lap just to finish that race. So I found a lot of inspiration going into the backyard races, watching some of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, Mike, because I love reading too. I like inspirational books, or like Born to Run or Eat and Run. But I didn't really want to read Eat and Run because it's about Scott Jurek winning everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I can't relate to that.
He is a beast, though. He can't help it.
But you do want someone that's more relatable, more like, I'm that person. I'm the average Joe or whatever. I can aspire to that. And those are similar things but I gotta say, my girl Courtney, I'm all like a huge fangirl of Courtney DeWalter and Maggie, you know, of course, from Biggs. And one of my main motivations to do that virtual race was to try and meet them. So I wanted to just get on the elite Zoom so that I could say hi to them, and then I would bow out.
Nice.
But unfortunately,
I think I watched. Was it Western States where they did I think it was not a really long documentary, but maybe like a half hour or something on Courtney? My
favorite one of her is The Source, and it's her Tahoe 200.
Yeah, it's
when
really
she's
good.
eating pancakes.
Maybe that's okay.
When she's eating pancakes and going, "This is it," and she like finally is able to eat something. I love that. And just the way her crew just love her and support her gets me choked up every time, because it always, for me, comes down to that support, and doing it alone is just not an option. So
I'm with you, Sarah. I've got a daughter, and she's running cross country for the first year, and I just so badly want her to tell me that I want these really long shorts. I can't wait to see the next generation of girls all wearing long shorts out on the course, because that's what she's doing.
She wears basketball shorts.
Dude, I remember when I first started running with my running group at work, and they were knocking my basketball shorts, because I grew up a basketball player. So all I have was cut off tees and basketball shorts. And there's one guy, he's like, you talk to so-and-so, the girls in the group, and they'll get you, the sports, the sparkle skirts, and the tight, fitted wicking shirts. I'm like, really? All right. Gotta look good, I guess. But no, I'm loving that Courtney's bringing back the shorts. I think it's great.
I don't know how she gets by in those, but I mean, I'm sure they're comfortable,
They're
but
so silky. Oh my gosh.
there's got to be a lot of chafing going on. I don't know.
There's a lot of chafing going on no matter what.
Right. And then Miko, how about you? You got anything that pumped you up that you watched and you're like, yeah, I gotta get out there?
Not really. I'm sure you guys heard me talk about it on the course though. Was Eco Challenge? If you guys haven't watched that on Amazon, like
I haven't watched
I
it yet.
was watching that as I was doing my race prep and everything Friday, Saturday, and watching those guys race across Fiji was amazing.
Nuts.
And it's
I gotta check it out. I've heard good things about it.
I've actually met two of the athletes who are on the second place team.
Oh,
Like, I've seen them at races, and I've said hi, and we've talked, like just chatted kind of informally. So it was kind of cool to see them.
yeah.
And just, it looked like
What?
that's kind of like my new obsession is adventure racing. So I'm like looking for, okay, where can I get in one? Like, hey, there's one in February up Northern Michigan. Like, can I go get in? Can I get what I gotta get to go do this?
Where you gotta do like the wayfinding and everything.
Yeah, where it's
Yeah.
like a compass and a map and
Yeah.
go from here to here.
Yeah. And it's usually that those races like up in the UP, those are usually a group
Yeah.
race, isn't it? Yeah, you're going out with like your own group and everything. Yeah, they sound like a ton of fun, but have yet to try one.
Especially watching them like paddleboard down a river in Fiji was just like, I want to go do this.
That sounds like Sarah's vacation event.
You know, actually, is a really cool new series that I just was introduced to. I think it's on Prime or Netflix or something, maybe both. If not, you'll find it. It's called Alone, and it's is it the History Channel or something?
Oh,
Where they're like
Yeah.
putting individuals on this really difficult island or area, and they're
Yeah.
last man standing. So
yes.
there's no crew of cameras. There's no support. They're really alone. They have to videotape themselves, and a lot of what they go through. I just got through like season 1, and the guy that won it was super cool anyway. And a lot of the things he said related a lot to the last man standing race.
Yeah.
And just kind of that test of your mental ability to stick it out, because you don't know who's left. There's 10 people they throw out there.
Yeah, they don't get updated.
So then they only know when someone comes to fetch them and says, you're the last one here.
Yeah.
They don't even know who their competitors are, or how many are left, or how long it's going to last for them. So it's day on day. And they have to use their survival skills. They only get like 10 items. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
But-
they're like weaving baskets and making their own
You see that?
silverware and stuff.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool.
There's some pretty resourceful people out there. I don't know.
I learned a
probably
lot about
last,
gill nets and fishing and
Yeah. I
bull
like to
kelp,
think
what you
maybe
can
I could
eat.
last like a week. I don't know.
We could do a last man standing with like no resources. You have to like forage for like chanterelles in the forest and feed yourself, and
You just have to eat the black flies as you go.
the deer flies become your source of protein. Cool.
Were they bad this year, you guys?
No.
No.
I didn't see one.
Oh, good. Okay. Whew. They were so bad the last year when I went out to check out the trail like a couple weeks ahead of time. I was like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
if this is what it is, I'm not even gonna make it one lap. Like, holy cow. And then there were none the day of the race. Didn't see
They're
a
like a
single
2-week
one.
period in July, and they are brutal.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're gonna be in July again next year, so
Well, hopefully they've all disappeared by then too.
we're gonna meet
So.
them out.
We talked a little bit about the dream race. Mike, I don't know if you said what your dream race is. I'm starting to think it might be Biggs.
Yeah, I got into Ode. It's one of those. It's like losing to Sarah. Like I felt like to me to get into Biggs, it would have been the holy cow, look who I'm around. Where I'm like, man, Sarah can compete with these people. So I'm excited to see her go. To me, I think I've just watched so much on Western States now that I'm like, I would be pretty geeked up to be able to run that someday.
Yeah. Does anybody want to do Leadville? Because that's my dream race.
Not anymore.
No.
I think I wanted to when I was reading Born to Run, but I've heard it's kind of sold out now. Like it's really commercialized,
Oh,
and it's
really?
like they oversell it because they can get more people to buy in and they can flood the trails, but
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't have that unique ultra vibe, which I think is something
Okay.
I look for. And I would really highly recommend Old Dominion because it's like no sponsors, family run. It feels a lot like Ode in the sense
Okay.
that it's quaint and it's cute and it's almost as old as, or is it older than Western states? They're like the two that are the oldest in the U.S.
Okay.
But it's the lesser known one because they don't do any advertising. They only recently got on Ultra Sign Up. And,
Oh, okay. Now that's not a backyard style though?
no.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. I got a few more. I can't believe we've gotten to know you for almost the last hour and a half. I think this is the last question. So, what would you say to people who maybe never come to the Ode or thinking about trying it as like their first backyard style? What would you say to those people? And is it worth coming out even if they don't think they can run 100 miles or 50 miles or even a marathon distance? Is it worth coming out for just a lap or two? What do you guys think?
I feel like Mike should answer this because he's the one who came the farthest.
Well,
At least in our three.
you know, from my perspective, I would say what makes it so unique is, to your point, it doesn't matter how far you want to go. Like you can set a goal and just you got 4 more miles to beat that goal. And then you know what? Let's go 1 more lap, 4 more miles. It doesn't matter if you've only ran 6 miles before. Your goal can be 8 miles and 2 laps, and then try to go to 3. Or if you're like the 3 of us, we know our goals were, you know, minimum 24, and let's see how far we can go. So whatever your goal is, you've got, you know, an option to run that here. And then, I mean, I just can't say enough about the family atmosphere. I mean, everybody was so nice. Like I'll tell you, after my race, when I finished, like I'm there, like I'm trying to thank my brother who crewed me. I couldn't have done it without him. And all it was Miko's crew and Sarah's crew coming over, talking to me, wanting to, you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
so close. Everybody is so supportive. It was just a party atmosphere the whole time. It was fantastic. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's a great situation.
Yeah.
You know, you made a few of my crew cry, Mike. People got
Oh.
choked up. Yeah, it was
Oh.
cute. They were telling me after, like when you went through the line and then bowed out, they got all choked up, and it was pretty cute. I was like, why did you cry over me?
Oh man.
No, it definitely is a community or a village or it's not about beating the other one. You definitely want to keep each other going too, and I think
Yeah.
that's a lot of
about the racers too. Like the crew last year, I still haven't got like true confirmation of this, but I heard they did a beer mile.
They
Like
did.
while we were out racing.
During
And
the
we didn't find out for like 3 hours after it happened.
race?
So
Last year was definitely different, I guess, because we didn't have the delay or like the
and
Yeah.
all the craziness, but
Yeah.
it was definitely a cool event. I mean, just for everybody involved, the crew, spectators,
Yeah.
It'll be
all the
back.
players too, who were there helping all day and night.
Yeah. Well, I know, you know, when I signed up for it last year, I had only just done a trail marathon in April, and it was kind of one of those things where I said, well, you know, I love the Barkley Marathon documentary I watched, and I was just in awe, and I said I'm going to sign up for it because I at least want to see what these people are all about too. It was more kind of like a social experiment kind of, and I liked what I saw, and really it was just like, oh, I guess I'll just see how far I can go, and I really, you know, I already got that marathon. I don't really need to set a goal, and it was just fun to see how far you could get, and you if you got tired and you wanted to quit, you quit, and then you hung out for a while. So And I know my husband, who, wouldn't claim that he's a runner, he had a blast just hanging out with everybody else. And, by the time I came in for what was my final lap, everybody else was yelling my name. So, it's just it was that warm, fuzzy feeling, no, I didn't make it, I think I was maybe not even 50% of, in the top 50% or anything, but it was just a blast. And so I think it's totally worth coming out and running a lap and seeing what you think, and then hanging out for a while, or, even volunteering or something for a while. So,
well, once you finish the first lap, you got to do the second lap, and then you got to try for the third lap, and then try.
Right. You're like,
And when all
so
fails,
bad.
there's a keg at the end, so nobody's losing.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, in non-COVID time, there was food and beer aplenty. So hopefully we will get back to that next year. And we can kind of just go crazy with that. So it might even be crazier than it was the first year, but, so
I think being a part of it is a big lure, and just crewing other races and other friends and stuff. I think you kind of get more out of that than you do even racing. And being there for the party to start every hour is very unique. It's an awesome format, and it's exploding. Obviously, it's very it's becoming the new rage, right?
Yeah.
Well, you see all these backyard races popping up.
And when you crew too, or even just spectate, you get to see everybody. When you're running it, you kind of like in the zone, you might be noticing what's going on, in the tents next to you or whatever. But really, it's just, you're kind of in a zone, and it's really easy to see what everybody's going through. So it's kind of fun. I don't know, but
yeah, it was definitely fun. Well, I don't know how it was at Overlook, Sarah, but like getting to Oak Flats, and it's like unloading my car, and I get my little wagon, and I'm dragging it up to registration, and it's just seeing everybody from last year, and it's just saying hi. Oh, I haven't seen you all year, and just like we haven't seen each other in a year, but we raced together for 13 hours last year. Picked up, went back to having fun.
You definitely make friends for sure. Get to know people kind of quickly. So,
and even like the other races, the 8 hours in February and the 12 hours a night, although that was virtual this year, I really think just the whole series is going to take off, and that's going to become one of my go-tos or regulars, just because of the atmosphere, the people it attracts, and the format is just perfect.
Yeah, as long as it's not like 20 degrees or whatever it is this year for the.
Oh, I thought you like a challenge, Miko.
I do, but I wasn't racing. I was setting the course.
Don't give Tad any ideas. The next thing, there's going to be like a middle of the winter ode.
There is.
February.
Oh, God.
I
missed that.
You get a mug for it, too.
Maybe I just like blocked. You know what? I think I remember him posting that, and I blocked it out of my mind, because there's no way I'm running in cleats or for that period of time.
It was snow covered. It was awesome.
Oh man, bless his soul. So you guys, I think we're gonna conclude at the get to know you, and we are probably gonna have to separate this into a couple of different sessions. You just had some awesome commentary, and I am excited that it actually that we took this long, because we got a lot of stuff out of it. So yeah, let's say we are going to say to be continued, and our next session will cover training. And the way this went, I have a feeling that will be a session all in itself. So for those of you guys who have watched today, thank you so much. And I'm not sure when it'll be, but look for that next session to talk about what their training was like, and obviously how it worked out on race day. So thank you guys for joining me, and we'll see you soon.
Alrighty.
All right.